All right, so we are reconvening and we're going to give a couple of other people that didn't get to speak an opportunity to share their work. And I'm going to start with Ms. Claudia Keeby. Ms. Claudia, how are you?
I am good.
I am glad. I am so glad to hear it. So you read the Emancipation Proclamation for us, and I really do appreciate you preparing that in such an intelligent way and presenting it in such a fantastic way so that so it could be broken down.
Thank
because
you.
because people often read it and they don't really get what's there, and it's just so important for it to be understood.
I
But you
enjoyed it.
but you had an awesome response to that, and I'd like for you to share that response and then, of course, what you wrote.
All righty then, let me get started. It is my own writing. It is untitled. You ready?
I'm ready.
Illusions, delusions, confusion, design distractions, hypnotic personifications of truth and geared institutional freedom of a people as to accomplish psychological, ethical, political, and social state of unconsciousness. The time is now the time of change, no longer to be in bondage of anything. Let our state of consciousness be now aware of the contemplated consciousness to bear fruit empowered to fail. Let us stand in victories we have obtained. Let us now contemplate our healing and prosperity. Let us now determine and give our rightful freedom a name. From mountaintops across sea, from nation to nation, this consciousness rings. They say, let the powers that be. Well, I am the powers that be. We are the powers that be. So let us be.
Fantastic. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Thank you.
And it reads, like I said when we chatted about it, it's fantastic to have freedom. And that was kind of what I was going to get to when you spoke. But that power to be able to recognize it and embrace it yourself and empower yourself with that freedom to speak it out and share it with others on so many different levels. I think you touched on all of it. It's just it's amazing. It's like we didn't need the Emancipation Proclamation. We already knew we could be free. We already knew that we were free.
Right.
So it was just awesome, and I thank you for sharing that.
Thank
So
you for allowing me. I enjoyed
it was
it.
fantastic. All right, so Hiram, I want to give you a chance to share your second poem because you only got to do the one. Can you hear me? Are you there?
Okay. This one is called Black in America.
Ooh.
In the inner cities, they're rioting because a cop shot at them. Playing target practice, injustice they keep denying. All we hear are excuses from those of privilege and cop apologists who turn a blind eye to racism disguised as politics. So much defamation and slander. Then they police our candor to maliciously minimize and then dismiss our rights to anger.
Hiram?
Yes? Hello?
Keep going.
Okay. The idea of us accumulating wealth was one that they couldn't handle. So the vandals went into our affluent neighborhoods and reduced them to shambles. In this instance, I'd like to reintroduce you to the system, the one that recognizes our progress in order to meet it with resistance. Large companies were given federal incentives to leave our community, created a sense of despair that disrupted our unity. But no matter what they threw at us, we rose above it beautifully. But still, I'm tired of them doing things with the intention to try to ruin it. Slavery still exists under conditions of the 13th Amendment. Owners of private prisons do business with judges and other members of the judicial system. Corrupt cops plant evidence, trump charges in many cases of nonviolent offenses. So inmates can work for a few pennies while the owners are raking in millions. This is why I'm on this mission. These times are vicious. They recognize the God within me, therefore they criminalize my existence. And I can't stand the racist propaganda. Nightly news racist banter in front of those cameras ain't so random. The alt-right rally in VA, politicians help them plan it. To stoke the fires of oppression, hope and intense emotions will help them fan it. They do the most dirt while they got us Africans in America branded. Social and cultural engineering has left us broken like Moses' 10 Commandments. Marcus Garvey planned our exodus. While they plan to keep up mess with us, they sabotage those boats at the dock for wanting to continue oppressing us. In a sick and twisted way, they treasure us, even obsessed with us. They had to keep us here because everything that has ever made America great would have left with us. Thank you.
Spoken word artist, Hiram Ether.
Thank you.
That is fantastic, Hiram. Every time you say that one, man, I want to run out the room. So much power. It's a wake-up call, man. I know you have a lot of wake-up calls, but that's a really, really strong message that you're sending in that one.
Yeah, that's my I have another one that I do, but that's my main one that really shakes it up. So I appreciate that.
That is fantastic. That is just, whoo, man, every time. Gets me every time. All right, I see Barefoot Poet has joined us, but if Theola Bright, did you get somewhere? Did you get put somewhere, Theola? Or you need a little bit more
turning
time?
in somewhere right now.
Okay.
I'm turning in now.
Okay. So I'm going to let Barefoot Poet do a poem so that you can get settled. Miss Dolores, how are you?
I'm good. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I am so sorry we got kicked off, but we're going to continue and wrap our thing up.
Okay, I'm glad I went over and saw that you were still going on. This is a combination of two poems into one. And one is When I Think About Myself by Maya Angelou. And the other one is We Were Lawrence Dunbar.
Okay.
When I think about myself, I almost laughed myself to death. My life has been one great big joke. A dance that's waltzed, a song that spoke. I laughed so hard I nearly choked when I think about myself. 60 years in the folk world, the child I worked for called me girl. I said, yes, ma'am, for working sake. I'm too proud to be in. I'm too poor to break. I laughed so hard my stomach ached when I think about myself. My folk can make me spit my side. I laughed so hard I nearly died. The tales they tell sound just like lies. They said they grow the fruit, but they eat the rind. I laughed so hard I start crying when I think about myself and the little children. But we wear the mask that grins and lies. It hides our cheeks and shades our eyes. This debt we pay to human guile, with torn and bleeding hearts we smile, and mouth with mirrored subtleties. Why should the world be overwise in counting all our tears inside? Nay, let them see us while we wear the mask. We smile, but oh, great Christ, our cries to thee from tortured souls arise. We sing, but oh, the clay is bowed beneath our feet and long the mile. Let the world dream otherwise while we wear the mask.
Oh, let me bring my screen. Yes, ma'am. Yes, indeed. Every time, one of my favorite performers of all time. And just everything. Sister Barefoot is just, oh, you don't even know. I appreciate you. I appreciate you.
God. Praise God.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so
You're
much for
welcome.
sharing that.
You're
All
welcome.
right. So, Miss Theola Bright,
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
come to the screen. Yes.
Okay, let me make sure I have it on as loud as it will go since I'm on my phone. All right. The poem that I'm going to recite for you today is one that I wrote years ago. Long.
Uh-oh.
I see that
Uh-oh.
I've been here. Am I back on again?
I'm
Okay.
watching. I'm watching
Well, the
for
name
you.
of the poem. What's that?
There we go.
The name of the. Am I on?
Yes, you are on.
Okay, the name of the poem is Welfare. I wrote this poem many years ago before the pandemic, and it was because many people have taken what was first considered a handout, well, a helping hand, to become a lifestyle of support rather than take it and use it to become independent. So this poem, Welfare, I speak to those who are able to go to work and that are not going to work. But because it is easier to sit home and collect a check, that is what they're doing. Welfare. Welfare, I call it hell's fare. Just enough to keep you there. Machines have replaced the slaves, but the slaves have replaced no one. With no equal opportunity or equal education, no 40 mules, no 40 acres and a mule, not even reparation. Given just enough to keep us there. A crutch disguised as a helper. A handout called food stamps in a system designed to impair and control the mind as well as your very soul. To control those who have not learned or do those who have not learned but must learn according to the system to do as they are told. Displaced and disgraced and forced to face welfare. And I call it hell's fare because they only give you enough just to keep you there. Equal education and equal chance. This is the only way for a slave to advance. And oh, what a threat we all could be should we ever discover our strength in unity. And that we are not a minority, but a race displaced, then disgraced, and forced to face hellfare. I call it welfare because you're only going to get enough just to keep you there. It's the King Alfred's plan. It's a camp called Hood, where you're quarantined, drugged, and then infested with chemicals, AIDS, and foods that are no good. Our boys seldom reach it to men, and then they're arrested. No God in the schools and no golden rules for a displaced race that has been disgraced and forced to face what I call welfare, hell's fare. It's only enough just to keep us there. Wake up, everybody.
All right. Yes, ma'am. That's one of my favorites. That's one of my favorites, Miss Theola.
Oh,
Thank you so much for
thank you.
sharing
They
that.
don't
Thank you so
usually
much.
like to hear that one.
I do. I do. You make a strong point. A very strong point. And it's written in very plain language.
I just hope that the stimulus checks has made a lot of people lazy. And we are crutches. It's a crutch that's leaning on a crutch that's going to soon break down, because if you're not giving back to a system that's supporting you, it's going to become exhausted eventually.
It is. It is. All right. So I want to thank everybody for rejoining me and reconvening so we could get an opportunity to wrap up. I have appreciated every single minute of this. This has been some hard work, but some pretty good fun too. We are going to do this again
Yay.
sometime soon. I'm glad I see a lot of smiles.